So on the farm project, we approached the criteria by first looking at what our options were. We knew that we had to hit 30 bridges. We could go all the way up to 40. We started looking at the types that we could use on this. We kind of thought about concrete initially. We also kind of felt that other teams would be doing the same thing. And so I got together with the team and we felt that bringing steel to the table would bring fabricators to this project that may or may not be included. So we felt like that would bring us a good price. And so we pursued steel bridge on this project.
Coming into the project, we really felt like maximizing the number of bridges was going to be the formula to success here. Very early on in the project, we were allowed 4 one-on-one meetings with MoDOT, confidential to our team. And we found out very quickly that MoDOT was not interested in anything that would be perceived as lack of quality for sake of more bridges. So we kind of retooled our focus there after that first one-on-one meeting and determined that we need to figure out ways to maximize quality first and then extend the number of bridges after. So steel rose, to the top of the pack pretty early on once we came up with this SDCL concept.
The design-build methodology allows contractor innovation. In this best value proposal, Layman Construction chose to use simple for dead, composite for live load structures. And I think the procurement method allowed innovation. Other proposers had different innovations in the proposal, but I think the value there was this innovation allowed them to save money and deliver more bridges and the whole package.
So the simple for dead, continuous for live concept is pretty much pre-stress, but on a steel level. What we had out there on the existing structures on this project were already simple steel structures. So most of the superstructure depths on these structures we would be able to hit or better with the simple for dead, continuous for live concept, which ultimately allowed us to hit the no rise cert for hydraulics purposes. We could keep our superstructure depth narrow and allowed us to keep the grade raises to none. So we kept the money on the bridge and not on the road. But the simple for dead, continuous for live allowed the contractor also to use equipment that was smaller in size. When you're out there on the rural areas, you had curved or smaller, narrower roadways, and bringing in larger, bigger beams could prove to be difficult.
As the reduced superstructure depth allowed us to replace all these bridges without grade raises, that limited all of our paving off the end of the bridge to just the approach slab. So it was a very efficient design from a roadway standpoint as well. Another advantage was actually in public inconvenience. We were able to shorten the closure times on these bridges because Layman was able to use much smaller equipment to set these steel girders as opposed to the heavier pre-stress girders that require bigger cranes and possibly 2 cranes to move the girders into place. So there were obvious advantages there. And then from the quality and longevity standpoint, MoDOT was very happy that we were not reducing any of the existing freeboards. All the freeboard was either maintained or improved, again because of the shallow steel girder design. And then I think in general view steel as a longer term solution to bridges, especially the fact that they can be redecked easier than pre-stressed concrete girders. So I think all 3 of those combined really helped our proposal be successful.
Ultimately, we ended up going with the simple for dead, continuous for live concept, and that ended up getting Layman Construction to buy off on the concept and feel comfortable with pursuing this type of structure. They were comfortable with it because it brought fabrication time as well as erection time, the ease of erection. They were able to bring smaller cranes in. Also, in partnering with MoDOT, we had options of either doing a painted type structure or weathering steel. And come to find out, galvanization brought an equal price, so we were able to bring galvanization into this, which really worked towards the longevity of the structure. Based on galvanizing the steel, it looked like we went from 75 years to 100 plus, and so that really thrilled everybody on the team.
And the shorter and shallower beams allowed us to utilize a variety of fabricators versus a continuous steel beam with the splices where they may not be certified. We were able to open that market up to allow smaller fabricators to be more competitive. It also allowed us to use an accelerated bridge construction concept that MoDOT viewed favorably upon to limit the number of road closure days that these bridges could have experienced with a more traditional design.
limiting the pieces to simple span and not having bolted splice designs in the field, allowing those pieces to be shorter so they could be hot dip galvanized, and the speed at which we could get raw material with that design, and I assume the speed of erection. I think they were putting these bridges up, typically it was about 12 beams per bridge, and they were erecting these in a half a day or so. And so I think eliminating the bolted splices, taking the complexity out of the design is key to making this project successful.
The benefits of bridge bundling in this farm program and in our other bridge bundles to MoDOT are that we address a number of structures in a short period of time. We get competitive costs on the design of these structures, and we deal with one contract design team to deliver a number of projects. If we use the traditional design bid build methodology, we would be hiring consultants to do small design packages and putting them out to bid, dealing with additional contractors. So I think it streamlines the process to deliver a number of bridge-related projects in a region efficiently, and we get a good use of the taxpayers' dollars.
So working with Lehman and Wilson and Company as the design build contractor, they put together a really good package for this project where they created really good steel details for the fabricator. So from a fabrication standpoint, very simple details, very easy to fabricate, a lot of redundancy in the beam sizes and lengths, giving it the ability to be galvanized easily, which the owner had a preference for. I think bundling the package, breaking the bundles down into subsects basically allowed for competitive pricing throughout the project.
So my experience with farm, the fact that we had a bundle allowed us to have an efficiency in a sense where the pile bend detailing was very similar, the substructure design was very similar, so that cut the time for us. That way we didn't spend much time on doing separate detailing for each bridges. So that made it easier on me as someone who just graduated from college. I understand the concept because it was very repetitive. I would say that was the positive aspect.
The benefit is these are all similar designs on all the bridges, so once they kind of get those first few out of the way, they've been able to just kind of knock them out a lot quicker as they go along. That design also, it allowed for increased production as far as it speeds up the construction time, as mentioned in the in-bed construction, with being able to reduce one of the pours and also reduce cure time, as well as being able to backfill those end bends quicker. It also saves on maybe some equipment rental. If they have a concrete pump set up to pump some of these, they can knock out the end bend construction and the intermediate cap diaphragms in one day. So there's a potential for some savings in rental fees as well as equipment expenses along those lines.
From a fabrication standpoint, bundling of bridges in this farm project to DeLong's, the benefits were, a lot of redundancy in material ordered, a lot of redundancy in the ways that we fabricate. We could set up areas with a number of beams. I think there were over 300 beams on this project total that were all in the same length range. And so same details, repetitive fabrication. There's a cost savings not only to DeLong's but to the design build team and to the owner.